welcome to Sunstar Knits. I am Eleanor, and this is my knitting channel. I'm just getting over a cold, sorry. So if I sound a bit weird or deeper than normal, it's that. But today, we're gonna do a bit of a first quarter knitting recap. I haven't seen any videos like this. I don't know if anyone's done, I'm assuming people have done videos like this. Again, there's kind of really no original ideas. But just some disclaimers. I have notes down here, so my computer's down over here. So if I'm looking down that way, I'm looking at notes. I have a dog over here laying on his bed. So if we hear snoring or barking, it's him. So yeah, in this video, we're gonna go over my 2025 year goals, as well as my Make 9. And then we're gonna go over my winter plans. Sorry, I just hit the mic. My winter plans and whether or not I completed them and why. And then maybe some vague spring plans, just because I've kind of charted out the past. I charted out my fall and my winter, and I didn't totally meet all of them. I didn't do it all, so I'm gonna make it a bit more vague and just do about what I want and like things I would like to add to my wardrobe. So let's jump right into it. So my year goals, we're actually gonna do a bit of a knit and chat because I need to finish this before next week. This is also one of the things I will be talking about though. But my year-end goals were to be more intentional about the patterns and the yarn I choose. And that's pretty much it. So I saw a lot of people doing no buys in this, like stating they were going to do no buys in December. And I was like, hey, what is one thing that like I could reduce? Especially because I'm a college student. I'm going to be moving out of my parents' house come August for the first time. So I'm trying to save some money, build up a bit of a nest egg for all of that. And what is one thing I could be overspending on and not using to like full extent. And I was looking through my patterns because I wanted to organize them and see how many I had. I'll move you a bit closer. Oop, I hit some mail. But yes, so I realized I had a lot of patterns. So I decided I was going to go on a reduced buy for patterns and that I couldn't buy any patterns unless I had made one I had already done. So I wanted it to be, it didn't need to be a net, but I did, or a net lot, like a loss of patterns where I made more than I brought back in. And it didn't, but I really didn't want it to be a gross. So I made it kind of a neutral. So I'm bringing in the same amount that I'm using pretty much. And so I have stuck pretty well with that. I have bought, I think, 4. No, I think at least, I can't always tell what I've bought and what I haven't because I'm looking at a lot of free patterns. So like I downloaded a free sock pattern because I'm starting to get into sock making. But at minimum, I've bought 3, I believe. Sorry, I'm using natural lighting. So if it gets really dark, it's because the sun decided to go away. But, and those 3, I believe, are the Kintra sweater and the Stick Season cardigan by Rebecca Clow and the Lindahl skirt by Woden. Sorry, all 3 of those words are not in English, and I just translated the skirt word because it's easy. But the Lindahl skirt by Woden. So I've done really good. I have used a lot more. I think I've used 19. Let me double check that. I've used 19, I believe, out of 42 patterns. And if you watched my other video, you're like, wait, you bought 3, but you didn't like get any more patterns. It's because I went through my Google Drive again, and a lot of the patterns that or some of the patterns I was counting are free patterns that I'm like, I'm never gonna make this, so I'm just gonna delete them and like take them out. And so I updated it. So I've done 19 of 42 patterns. And you're like, 42 patterns, that's not a lot. That's 3 years worth of patterns, and I don't want to have, or 2 to 3 years. And I haven't, oh no, I bought 4. I just bought one again, another one. But I'm making it, I cast it on, I bought it and I cast it on. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been making some things out of my pattern stash, but I have also been pretty good about, if I have to buy a pattern, then I'm buying the pattern when I'm ready to start the project or when I want to start the project, and that has helped a lot. And like I'll put it in my favorites, my Ravelry favorites. Sorry, my dog looks at me like he wants to go outside, but he's not barking, so he's probably just wanting to go lay in the sun now that I'm back downstairs from taking a shower. So yeah, that's been a really big help, is favoriting it or putting it in my queue in Ravelry and just reminding myself that, like, occasionally going through my favorites and being, oh yeah, I wanted to make that, like I have the yarn for it now. And then I'll be like, okay, let me slot this into or put this in the back of my mind to make. So yeah, that's kind of my goal. I have been pretty intentional. I'm been using out of my stash yarns I've previously bought, and then stash yarns and stash patterns. So if I don't have a yarn for it, because the majority of my stash is acrylic, and I don't really like using acrylic in my clothing just because I don't like the way it drapes anymore. I bought it for plushies and all that. So I'm trying to get my stash down as well, because again, I'm moving and I don't want to have to move all of that yarn with me. So I've done 2 stash busting projects, but yes, I'm working primarily out of my stash when I can, and then when I can't, I'm just buying the yarn for that project. So I think I'm meeting that goal. I don't quite have any more goals to add at this point. So I will move on to my Make 9. So currently I have made 1, 2, I believe 4. Yes, I've made 4 of my Make 9s, and I have the yarn for a 5th. So I will go through them. I have them all here. And I will go with the first one on my Make 9, which is the sweater. This is that sweater. Let me stand up and show you the full thing. But this is the sweater. It is the sweater by November Knits. I used a 5mm needle, which I believe is the recommended needle size. Sorry. Yes, I used a 5mm needle for all of it. I did not size down for any of the ribbing. I don't know what the recommended yarn size is for this. I believe it's a worsted or an Aran, but I used the Wool of the Andes Bulky because I bought it for the Novice Cardigan Chunky, and which was one of my winter plans. And then I didn't want to buy the petite knit pattern because I went on the intentional knitting whatever, and then I couldn't find a pattern I liked that was free, so I just pivoted and I switched to one of my Make 9 patterns that I had in stash. So it is It fit perfectly. I believe I hit gauge first time, but it is all double knit ribbing with this beautiful double knit raglan shaping. Very long ribbing on the sleeves. I just did a normal bind off because it's 2x2 and I didn't want to have to realign it. And then I stopped my body about right after it hit my waist, and then I did some long 2x2 split hem because I like the look of the cropped, so I made the body cropped, and then I made the hem, which is already a split hem pattern. I made it so that it would cover my butt because I like that look. And it didn't even use all 9 skeins. I believe I used 7, so I have 2 skeins left that I've got to figure out something to do with. It is a pretty rustic yarn. It's pretty itchy. It definitely has to wear. I don't think I have to wear anything. I wore it with a tank top underneath the other day, and really only my back was pretty itchy. And I was moving around. I eventually had to take it off because it got too hot. But I went to the dog park with it on, and I honestly didn't find it super itchy. Like, if I'm just touching it, like, yeah, it's a scratchy, it's not soft, but like on my body, it's probably only itchy on my like here, but I'm pretty sensitive on my inner elbow. So yeah. So that's my first make 9. My second, and that's I don't know if I said who it's by, but that's the Unsweater by November Knits. My second make 9 that I have finished is the porcelain sweater. I have a whole project vlog on this, so I won't go into too much detail. If you want more, you can go look at it, but I brought this with me. This is the porcelain sweater by Lay Knit, and I brought this with me to Scotland, so I have very nice memories. I wore it pretty often because it was cold and windy there, but yeah, I don't remember what needle size. It took me probably like 19, 20 days to finish. It was my first drop shoulder colorwork cardigan, and I used Drops Flora and Drops Brushed Alpaca for both the colors, and I absolutely love it. It pills like crazy, but I just pick them off as they come, and that's kind of like, that's just what happens when you use a brushed alpaca. So yes, that is my second make 9 done. My third is my Musselburgh hat by Yasulda. This I used, I can put this on for you. This I used Ruby and Roses. I have gotten this company name wrong. For some reason I like Lily and Roses, but I think that's a crochet YouTube channel. But I used Ruby and Roses Wildflowers collection. So this is the color Water Lily, and I don't know what color this is, and I can't find it, but it was their like sock set, so it's the complementary color. So this is Water Lily. It's absolutely beautiful. This is actually this is the inside, but the reason I have it as the inside is because if I color block, like I can wear this if I want the brim to be a separate color, just like this, and have a bit of a slouchy hat and not a folded brim. That's not really my look, but if I try and fold the brim, the second skein didn't quite make it, so now there's a stripe, which, now that I'm looking at it, I don't totally mind. It actually looks kind of cool, so I could wear it like this, but yes, the color blocking. And then I found it interesting because the colors over here aren't as saturated and are a lot better spaced out than the colors over here. and I pulled from the inside on this one and the outside on the other side. So I find that interesting. And so that's a fingering weight sock yarn with, I think I used a 3.25. Yeah, 3.25 millimeter yarn. And I have a second one of these on the needles right now, which you will not see because it's upstairs. But yes, so that is, so yes, I have a second one on the needles right now. And it's probably not going to get edited out, actually. My microphone, I accidentally clicked it while I was checking to make sure it still had some battery life, even though I charged it not too long ago. But moving on to my fourth and final Make 9 is what I'm working on right now. This is the second one I am working on, and it is the Sunday winter sweater by November Knits. I bought these patterns together when she was having like a 50% off sale or something. Yeah, so that's why I've got two, and then I liked both of them. But the reason I'm doing a second one is because the first one I made, I'll put a photo up here. I no longer have it. This is the second one. I finished the body, and I'm working on one sleeve. And so this one is, the first one was made in Caron 1 pound, the color Midnight Blue, and Sugar Cookie. So a navy blue, and then this brown Sugar Cookie by the Sugar Cookie. The brown is by Pound of Love Lion Brand. And then that one went to the middle sister down in LA because I wasn't liking the fit. I wasn't liking how it was feeling with the acrylic because they're both 100% acrylic yarns. This is part of my stash busting. I had quite a few pounds of stuff that I was making garments and things out of when I was crocheting. And I don't like that anymore. So, sorry, I'm moving you closer. I moved you farther away, and I don't know why. So, yes, that one got sent there, but I put it in my sibling group chat of like, hey, do either of you want this? I don't really like it. Like it's this bust and this waist. And both of them liked it. And so Nika kind of commented first, like, yeah, I'll take it. Nika's the middle sister. And so my mom was going down literally that weekend. So I finished it up and sent it with her to go make sure it fit. And then if it didn't, I would give it to the other one. But it did fit and she liked it. And the other one wanted one. So she was like, hey, if I make you these socks, which at the time I'm not an avid sock knitter. I'm making my first pair of socks right now. But like at the time I was like, socks are horrible. I can't do socks. Socks don't work. Like I'll never be a sock knitter. So I was like, yes, of course. Give me, like, I will trade you a sweater for a pair of socks because to me, that's about the same amount of work to make a pair of socks and a sweater. And I get to make her something that she can wear a bit more. And I get to have yarn taken out of my stash and I get a cool pair of socks that my sister made me. So I was like, my mom did not think it was a fair trade, but I was like, I think it's fair. I'm cool with it. So I'm making this one. I was fully prepared. I just split for the body and the sleeves, and I was fully prepared to put it on hiatus until fall came around and it started getting colder again because it was fully spring and I was in a full spring knitting mood. And now then it decided, nope, you're going to finish this sweater, and gave us another 1.5 feet of snow up here in the mountains, which is great. We didn't get nearly enough snow during the actual winter time, so I'm like fine with it. But yes, so now I finished the body, I think 2 days ago, and then started the sleeve the same day, and I'm finishing it up. I finished this stripe this morning, and I've done the rest of this today. So I'm hoping to get at least another brown and black stripe. So to have finished 2 sets of stripes today. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Just because I don't know. I now have a deadline for this. I've got to finish it by next Thursday because I'm going down to Sacramento to see my sister Faith, who this sweater is for, and my grandma. Little thing, I messed up this pattern, and in this pattern, you're supposed to do the raglan increases on all 4 seams, so it's just a simple 2-stitch raglan thing. So you're supposed to raglan increase on both sides for a certain number of rows, depending on your size, and then you stop and you only do your raglan increases on the body part. I, even though having already done this pattern once, did it wrong and did both body and sleeve increases or raglan increases for the total number. So I did probably about like 4 or 5 too many increases on the arms. So because of that, I didn't cast on as much under the underarm. I only cast on, I think, 1 stitch, and then I picked up 3 on the underarm. So it's fully a weird cacophony, but I'm taking the pattern and running with it. And I'm not going to do the sleeve decreases because I don't even know. I've got to figure, I might have to do one, but I'm not going to do the sleeve decreases, so I'll just decrease by probably like, well, it's, I think like 4 or 5. So I'll decrease by like 10 or 12 around the, right before the cuff, and should be fine. I don't know. It's whatever. Let me count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Also, another thing, this stripe is one, I believe it's this stripe, but I think both of these stripes, these 2, are 1 round too long because I'm still not 100% sure how you're supposed to count your rows in knitting. Because if you're doing color work, which I consider this color work, you have to count the stitches on your, like these as a row. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows showing, but then you have to count 10 because if you count just down here, then I'm going to actually have 13, like, I don't know. It changes depending on what I'm doing, because if I'm doing decreases and increases, then I don't count the stitches on my needle as a row. But if I'm doing color work, I do count my stitches as a row. So if anyone has tips on that, I would love them. Okay, moving into the winter knitting plans portion of this video. So my plans for winter were to knit the Kintra sweater, which I have the pattern for. I bought it the weekend it came out in February because I'm part of her newsletter, so I get a discount on release weekend. So I bought it then, and I have a yarn advent I want to use for it. Sorry, I'm checking where my dog is going. He got up and clip-clopped away. So sorry if you heard that, but I have an advent for the color work, and I don't know what body yarn to use, because I don't know if I want to hold the advent double and do DK or do the fingering weight version. So I think I'm just going to hold that off until next December and make it my advent project. and do that. So I think that's what'll happen. I was wanting to do the Stripe Hype sweater by Veronica Lindbergh because I got a weekly and a daily advent, and the weekly was 5 skeins. And it was the perfect number, like right thing for that. And I still want to do that sweater, but after this I'm kind of striped out and I'm kind of ready for more spring patterns. So that will also probably be pushed off until the fall/winter. And then the hood scarf by Pearl Soho. I actually switched this to a modified version of the Winter Hug Hood by Drops because of my pattern reduce by or net buy. I'll do that. My pattern net buy. Or neutral buy. I found a free version on Drops website for a hood, and I just switched it so I did it all in garter, and I've actually finished this. It's a finished object. You'll see it. I finished it the first day, the first or the second. So you'll see this in my podcast at the end of the month. So yes, and then I was supposed to do the Hobbiton vest. I have the yarn for this. My mom actually, it's yarn from a Frogged project. My mom bought me this yarn in South Carolina, I believe, when she and my dad went there for a conference he has to go to for his job. So I have the yarn. I really want to do that. I think that'll become a spring knitting plan. So yes, and then like I said, the Novice Cardigan Chunky by Petite Knit. This was originally switched to the Linger by Asa Buchta, and then I switched it completely to the Unsweater by November Knits. So yeah, that's kind of my roundup portion of this video. Now I have my general spring plans. I don't really have any. I kind of want to take it as I go, but I'm going to continue using scrap yarn. I want to add some tank tops to my wardrobe, whether that's just a vest that becomes a tank top. I want to put more summer wear into my wardrobe just because really my summer wear is jean shorts and a t-shirt, and I want to do more than that. I want to get into kind of the boho-y, like cottagecore kind of vibe. So lots of flowy, lots of very feminine patterns and designs. And yeah, I kind of already have that. I have one pattern, like one spring knit already done. I finished the knitting for it. It's my self-drafted pattern. I finished all the knitting. I just need to, it's blocking currently. I'm waiting for it to dry, which is taking forever because of the snow. And I have to sew on some snaps, but you will see that in my, I'm planning on wearing that for my Easter sunrise service. So that's my first one, and then I'm planning on making the Shona top again, the tank top version, in the same yarn that I'm using for the Bernadette blouse that I'm probably going to be frogging and doing again slightly differently. Sorry. So I've already done the top version, so now I'm going to do the tank top version. I have another like sweater quantity or garment quantity of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, sweater / garment quantity of some KC essential 100% cotton yarn that I kind of have to figure. I have an idea of what I want to do with it because I kind of already have a pattern and stash for it, but that's not totally set in stone. There's a couple of patterns that Rebecca Clow has that I could also do. I really like the Staff and Light, which I believe is in test knit now. I really wanted to try out or do that, but her newsletter isn't being sent to my inbox, or I'm not getting notifications for it. So I missed out on being able to apply for that test knit. But I could do the Staff and Light with it. I could do weight and just keep it in stash. And there's this other stitch pattern that she's kind of teasing and working on right now that I don't even know if it'll be out this year. It may be her August pattern. It may not, that I like. So I've got options with that, but mostly I want to use some cotton linen blends. I want to use some linen. There's this like, I want to do, the Palm Springs tank by California Knits, Knit California. Holy cow, why can't I remember stuff? Let me look it up. But it's the Palm Springs tank. She's in test knit right now, and she's got this yak silk, some sort of yarn that looks like interesting depending on it is Knit California, depending on the price range of it. It's from Dusty Yarn Co.'s, which is a hand dyer. Dusty Yarn. Nope, not a B. Yarn Co. Down in SoCal. So, let me pause and see if I can pull it up because it looks really interesting, and it looks like shiny. I think it's a yak silk something. But yes, that looks like something I would want to make. I don't see it on her. Maybe it's not out yet. She's got a Luxe Silk Cashmerino. But I don't see it out. Maybe next time, but I don't know. Those are kind of my plans. Thank you for hanging out with me. I think I will be doing this sort of every quarter. And I think my next plan to kind of start thinking about collecting the yarn for is the Elks. Oh, I closed it. I'm not smart sometimes. The Elks. Well, no. It would be, it's the Stick Season jacket by Rebecca Clow. I have the pattern for that. And then to get the yarn for is the Elks. I have this pattern. I'm going to pause real quick. So I have both of these patterns already in stash. The Elks is from a book I have. It's a Shetland, like for Shetland yarn and things. And I actually found the book bit from Retro Claude. She does a pattern from it. And it's all on Shetland yarn. And I really want to use the recommended yarn. But for the Stick Season jacket, I have the yarn. So I bought my sister's gift from Knit Picks. I got her 3 skeins of sock yarn and then some sock blockers. So I got a discount code, and I was figuring what to buy, and I wanted to buy yarn for the Stick Season jacket and then the Bison sweater by Jade, the Violent Cat Lady. But having both of those, that was too much. So I decided just to buy yarn for the Stick Season jacket, and I would buy the Bison sweater yarn later because I already have the pattern. Like, I know what I want. But I bought this yarn. It is Wool of the Andes worsted weight in Jurassic, and I can't figure out. This is actually pretty accurate, but it's called Jurassic, and it looks like, the only way I can describe it is a dark teal. It is not quite blue, like it's very blue, but it's very much a green blue. That's not very good. I need to find a light, but I might take a picture of it out on the snow in the natural light. It's actually pretty close. But yeah, it looks green, but it's also like blue. So I'm just calling it a dark teal, but like I've never actually seen a dark teal. But I really like it. Again, it's Wool of the Andes, which I believe it's 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It's a worsted weight yarn. And I think that'll be my next cast on, but I have a sock and I have a vest that I've already casted on that I've got to do. So sorry, this was a bit of a long one, but I will see you in the next podcast episode. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you are working on, if you've got during this, if you have any fun projects you're planning on casting on here soon. Just let me know all about it. Has spring come yet? I want spring to come. I'm watching the icicles melt right now, and it's hopefully this is the last big snow of the season. But yes, have a wonderful, cozy rest of your day.